got the green light to add more trails to this castle to make fuller progression for the riding experience, so that it was some place that folks could use as a training ground. And so in doing so, this fit perfectly to where we could make these jumps and berms be almost catered to a crazy wide swath of riders. And in doing so, we really took adaptive riders and really started focusing on their bikes and what the mannerisms were. And yes, we had a tight corridor that we had to kind of squeeze this trail in, but in doing so, in hindsight, it really helped us with the trail experience in general.
Some of the challenges we faced were just kind of up front. I mean, we don't ride adaptive bikes, so when it comes to shapes and the way we would build something and Graham and I would ride it and it would feel great. So it was kind of a check for us when we had the adaptive folks come out, ride the same feature that we were like confident it was great, and then be like, no, this doesn't work that well. So for us, it was very eye-opening, because even though everything's relatively pretty similar, there's little nuances that we had to do to actually really change the way that the trail rode for the adaptive riders.
We, had some features built that we thought were going to be absolutely perfect, and they weren't. So yeah, that was tough. That I think we had like 2 weeks left at that point, but we got together and we actually changed the direction of the trail a little bit to make it work. And yeah, I think it worked great.
We had to shoot it a hair steeper than I would normally traditionally shoot a beginner trail, but I'm certainly glad we did, looking back in hindsight on how riders are using it, and specifically the intended rider group. We were closer to 7%, which is more so a blue trail in most situations, but the adaptive riders, they have more drag, they've got 3 wheels. They have oftentimes a more difficult time maintaining momentum, because there's a high level of commitment that they have to utilize a berm correctly. A lot of the riders don't end up as far up in a berm as I would traditionally expect a mountain biker. And so that has dictated a lot of how the shapes are built, which is slightly unique. They need a big flat area in the bottom to make sure that beginner adaptive riders and advanced adaptive riders can ride up in the berm, but don't have to be forced into doing so. Table shapes are unique. To be quite frank, we've never really built tables that are this shape. These are like a giant roller basically, rather than a traditional tabletop, but it allows for a really relaxed lip, and it's incredibly inviting even for a mountain biker, and it translates really well to an adaptive bike.
This trail is a really good transition for the green trail and the blue trail at the castle. So, a beginner or intermediate adaptive rider can lap the green trail and master it. And then, before having to jump to the blue trail and kind of be out of their comfort zone too much, this trail is in between those, and they can session this and master it and then be ready for that blue trail. That is the most important aspect of this trail, that it provides that perfect transition. That's the whole purpose of it, not just for adaptive riders, but for all riders. Because when you draw out that radius of the jump like that, it just makes it less scary for everybody. And then for the turns, most trails, it takes me 20, 30, even more laps sometimes before I get to know it so well that I don't have to brake in the turn. I'm always braking in turns, and that completely disrupts flow. To get flow on a bike like this is a very rare feeling. And this trail, with that drawn out radius of the turns as well, I don't have to touch my brakes. I lean way over and I can hook it and get that feeling of flow finally. This trail opens up like the ability to ride a trail and progress, at a level the same as other people. But it's not just that. This is not just for adaptive riders. It's a game changer for everyone. Like, anyone can ride this trail and build up the confidence to ride the next trail up in the progression.
Because our trail crew really sat down and listened to the adaptive consultants, they finessed this trail to be more accommodating to them. And this is just the precipice. Like, the sky's the limit from here. We can improve upon our designs and refine and really fine tune and potentially have a larger effect for adaptive riders around bike parks, around different parts of the country. So this is just the start. And hearing the feedback from the 2023 off-road adventure riders, they were so incredibly stoked with the ride. And so some of them had gotten air for the first time ever on their adaptive bikes on this trail, which is just crazy to think about. And now, you know, they want to come back. They want to come back and visit. You know, this is just, they're going to tell their friends about it, and it's just going to lead to more and more folks getting out here and enjoying these trails and progressing, and then pushing us as builders and as designers to make things even more opened up and universal for all of these riders.